What's up, Cardfighters? Ryan here from Vanguard Central, bringing you guys a new updated Bluish Flame Liberator deck profile. So let's go ahead and get it started with our grade 3s. We've got 4 copies of our boss card, Bluish Flame Liberator Prominence Glare. Sorry about the glare. Oh, just kidding, there is none. So yeah, like I was saying, if you guys don't already know his skill, it's when your unit is placed on rearguard from the deck, if this unit is in Legion, you may pay the cost, and that's to counterblast 1 and choose a card with Bluish Flame in its card name and discard it. And this unit gets +1 critical, and during the turn that's during the battle that this unit attacks, your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater units from hand to Guardian Circle. So it does have that guard restriction, a very powerful card, and its non-Legion skill is to counterblast 1 and choose any of your rear guards so it can kill it. And so you check the top 4 cards of your deck, search for 1 Liberator from among them, and call it to rear guard and shuffle your deck. Or I'm sorry, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So you get the free call, helps you out with that also Legion skill. And we got 4 copies of Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. Now running Percival instead of Core, because Core doesn't synergize as well as Percival does with Prominence Glare, at least in my opinion. And having a free superior call with Percival is probably way better than just stacking a 3k and a crit off chance. Well, this one is actually guaranteed. That's why I think this is way better choice than Core. So his skill, if you guys don't already know, is when this unit performs Legion, you may check the top 4 cards of your deck. Search for up to 1 Liberator from among them, call it to an open rearguard, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. And his non-Legion skill is he gets +2k when he attacks a Vanguard, as a Vanguard, which is good. Hits for magic numbers against cross rides, if people still run them. Moving on to our grade 2s, guys, we got 4 copies of Regulation Liberator Agleveil. Agleveil is a very key card to this deck. I'm sorry, a very important key card to this deck because of his skills. So let's go ahead and just go with his first nifty skill. It's when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Liberate in its card name. Vanguard with Bluish Flame in its card name. So basically, if you're sitting on a grade 3, then he gets +2k when he attacks anything. And his other skill, excuse me, guys. Yeah, his other skill is actually really, really good in this deck. So when its unit is placed on rearguard from the deck, you may Soul Blast 1, check the top 5 cards of your deck for a card with Bluish Flame in its card name, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So not only does he shuffle your deck, you get to search for that Bluish Flame that you need with Prominence Glare. Ooh, look at that glare. Nice. Get it? Get what I just did there, guys? Okay. Now, moving on, we got 3 copies of Oath Liberator Agleveil. I know you're wondering why you're running 3 because he's such a great card, and don't get me wrong, he is an awesome card. But it's just the way that I had this deck set up. I felt like 4 was just a bit too much because most of the time early game, you'll get him. And if you don't get him, it's just bad luck, but that's Vanguard for you. But usually you're going to have a full field when you want to be calling stuff. And he's not, like you think 1 counterblast is not a lot. But this deck can counterblast a lot just because of Prominence Glare himself. You want to be, superior calling with his second skill, stuff like that. So his skill, if you guys don't already know, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Liberator in its card name, you may pay the cost to counterblast 1, check the top 3 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 Liberator in its card name, and call it to an open rearguard, put the rest on the bottom. And I'm running 3 right now because we have 2 other grade 2s that really run well in this deck. I think 3 is just a great number for that regular Agleveil. And moving on, we got 2 copies of Liberator Lawful Trumpeter. Trumpeter comes in handy a lot in this deck since you're going to be superior calling a lot, and you do get to cycle a lot of your superior calls thanks to help from other guys in this deck. I'll explain to you once we get to the grade 1s and 0s. And so when this unit is placed, when your Vanguard performs Legion, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 Liberator in its card name, call it to rearguard, open rearguard, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So he's basically a Percival, but grade 2, a little bit of a baby version, but you do get a free superior call that synergizes really well with Agleveil. Sorry guys, it's getting late. With Prominence Glare, excuse me. And then we have 2 copies of Taciturn Liberator Brenius. Brenius is the new card in the set 3, or GBT03, and his skills really come in handy sometimes. I haven't hit it too much just because you have to superior call something when he's already on the field, which isn't really a hard thing to do. It's just the fact that I'm only running 2 because there's not a lot of space in the deck. You guys can mix it up however. The grade 2 lineup is interchangeable, but the way I have it right now is what's been working best for me. And so if you guys don't already know his skill, it's when one of your other units is placed on rearguard from your deck. If you have a Vanguard with Liberator in its card name, this unit gets plus 2k until end of turn. And when this unit attacks its Vanguard, choose a card from your damage zone and turn it face up. And it does stack, so if you superior call 3 units, he gets plus 6k, and if he hits a Vanguard, you unflip 3 damage. So it does, pressure out a lot of cards from your opponent, but hitting them is kind of hard just because you want to make super numbers with like Brunos, but that's not too difficult because you cycle a lot, you superior call a lot in this deck, and that's why your opponent is going to turn into a skeleton while you're playing against him, because he's going to be waiting for you to finish. Moving on to the grade 1 guys, we got 4 copies of Halo Liberator Mark. I just want to max out the Liberators, and of course, you guys know me, I love the Liberator Mark art. You can switch to the Generation Break unflipping PGs, the PGGs, if you feel like, Counterblasts are a bit heavy. I haven't tried it yet, just because I haven't really had a problem with the Counterblast, but it's really all preference. I don't think it'll affect it that much anyways, just losing one Liberator, because the rest of the cards are all Liberator. And if you check the top 3 cards and it's all your PGGs, then like that sucks, like for you. I'm so sorry. That's super bad luck. But I doubt that will ever happen, so I might go ahead and think about changing that also, just for some more synergy. We got 4 copies of Physical Force Liberator Zoran. So like I said, you want to cycle a lot in this deck to get the superior calls. You want to get your Brunos to super numbers, and you want to get Coronogel to a good number. At least twice. 3 times is enough for your superior calls. And so if you guys don't already know Zoran's skill, it's when this unit is placed on rearguard from your deck, if you have a Gold Paladin and Vanguard, you may put this unit into the soul, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 Liberator from among them, call it to rearguard, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So you do lose him, so that's 1 less Zoran you're going to hit for later, but at least you can call himself, and you can call any other Liberator, you get another check. It's really good because it's an additional superior call that you get. And that's why I'm running 4. And then we got 3 copies of Meridian Liberator Bruno. I know you're wondering why you're running only 3 copies when Bruno is probably the best Gold Paladin card for Liberators. I actually don't know myself. I just wanted to max out the Brunos. I mean, not the Brunos, the Zorans. Because he's such a great card, especially because he's a free, exchange. Because I'm already maxing out catch goals in my stand triggers. But I felt that 3 Brunos was enough, just because early game, you're not guaranteed to have him in your hand, and you're not guaranteed to, draw into him. But superior calling so many times in this deck, you're bound to hit him, and you're bound to be able to place him behind your Vanguard, say if they kill Coronogel. And even if you put him on the rear guards, like, it's good. Say if Coronogel dies, then you can throw Bruno behind the Vanguard. That's why it's really good. If you guys don't know his skill, sorry. If you guys don't already know his skill, when your other Gold Paladin unit is placed on rearguard from your deck, if you have a Vanguard with Liberator in his card name, this guy gets plus 3k until end of turn. And it does stack. It's a demonic card, except he's an angel. But he's cool. Nice guy. Nice guy. 2 copies of Butterfly Liberator Cordia. He's also a new guy from set 3. The reason why I run this guy is because if you guys don't already know his skill, is to counterblast 1 and retire this unit. If you have a Vanguard with Liberator in its card name, check the top 3 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 card with Liberator in its card name, call it to open rearguard, and put the rest in the drop zone. So not only do you accelerate for Legion, you also get that additional superior call, just in case you have extra counterblast, or you catch him with the Zoran, or just with Percival, or with Lawful Trumpeter. It's an extra call that you get, and that's why I think it synergizes pretty well. That's why we're running him at 2, because you don't want to see him too much. And moving on to our grade 0s. You want to play pretty aggressive, which is the reason why we're running 8 criticals, 4 of them being Ascendant Liberator Barberchuk. Barberchuk's probably the boss card of the deck. It made the deck a lot more consistent when she came out. And so if you guys already know its skill, it's when this unit is placed on rearguard from the deck, the card got errated. It says placed on rearguard, but it's the wrong font, so it's supposed to be placed on rearguard from the deck. You may pay the cost, and that's to put that unit back on the top of the deck. So you shuffle it back into the deck, check the top 4 cards of your deck for a Bluish Flame card name, and add it to your hand. And so he's basically another Regulation Liberator Aglavale, and it makes the deck a lot more consistent because hitting this, you not only get to shuffle your deck, you get to send back one more trigger, and you get to search for a Bluish Flame. It's a pretty devastating card. It synergizes a lot with the deck. You got 4 copies of Catch Call. Like I said, you want to Superior Call a lot. I don't feel the need for draws in this deck because you Superior Call so much. Since the things you're going to be draw, you're going to be calling. It's like the same exact thing. And so Catch Call skill, if you guys already know, is when this unit is placed on rear guard from the deck, you may pay the cost. Look at the then that's to put them on the bottom of the deck and check the top 3 cards of your deck. Search for up to 1 card other than Catch Call, and then call it to an open rear guard. So you get a free Superior Call, but you just can't call himself, which I think is really good. And then 4 heals. Pretty standard for a Bluish Flame build. And the thing that we're doing here, I noticed you probably notice I'm missing 1 grade 1, and that's because we're running 2 of each. I'm sorry, 1 of each of the Liberator starters. So Coronogo is actually going to be our first starting Vanguard because I really enjoy using him early game because at least I can throw him behind the Vanguard and have a solid 5k booster. Other than times where I have to actually ride and then call Guido to the side because I want to throw my Bruno behind him. Early game having a weak middle lane is not that good because they can easily guard it. And you want to be able to push them to damage, you know, at least 2 to 3 by the time you get to Glare so that if you can crit them while having Explosion Bulan, it's basically GG after that because you rush them so fast. And that's why I feel like the early Coronogo is better than having a late game Guido. You know what I mean? If you call Guido back here, then he's going to sit there and you have to call your Brunos behind. It's better where you have a Bruno clone so that if you Superior Call twice with this guy, he's an 11k booster when you're in Legion. I think it's way better to have Coronogo as your starting. At least that's just my opinion. And then moving on, guys, to our strides. We got 3 copies of Fast Chase Golden Knight Campbell Noodle Soup. If you guys don't already know its skill is when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you may check the top 5 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 gold paladin from among it, or up to 1 card. Call its rear guard, shuffle your deck, and that unit gets plus 2k. So really good card. Helps you get a free Superior Call from the top deck. We got 1 copy of Miracle Element Atmos. You can change out to Blizza. The only reason why I don't run Blizza is because I don't have it right now. It's somewhere over there. But basically any Cray Elemental besides Madu because we're actually running 4 Madu. And, excuse me, right here. 3 of them I actually don't have right now. So I apologize for the proxy. So like I said, we got 4 copies of Rain Element Madu because there's a buttload of combos you can actually run with this guy. So his skill, if you guys don't already know, is when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle. If you have a heart card with original power of 10k or less power, choose a grade 3 card from your drop zone, add it to your hand. So if you stride over Prominence Glare while he's in Legion, you technically have a 10k or less heart because of your grade 2 mate, and you can get a free grade 3 from your drop zone. So you can stride for free, and you can also recycle your Bluish Flame so you can set up for next turn. Really good card. I think this is the best card that synergizes well with Bluish Flames, considering that this guy spiked to like $9 over the past 2 weeks, something like that. Crazy. Double R in Fighters Collection, $9. I don't know where life's going. But anyways, guys, that's the deck profile. Let us know what you guys think. Like our videos, comment below if you have any questions or concerns, and subscribe if you guys want to see some more. Vanguard Central, out.